A-OK. Let me know if you can see my screen A-OK. Good, and the yeses are flying in. All right, good, good, good. I'm happy you can hear my voice A-OK. You can see my screen. Good. All right, good stuff. So we still got people here jumping onto the call. Listen, I'm excited about this. I'm really excited. I've been excited about this webinar all week, okay, because we put a lot of work into this webinar, my team and myself, and we got a lot of valuable content that we're going to deliver tonight. So before we get started with everything, because again, people still are jumping onto the call, which is really exciting. I want to know, where is everybody from? So if you can, in the chat box, just let me know where you're from. I see a lot of familiar names. A lot of you guys who hang out with me on my email list. Some of you guys are actually friends with me on Facebook, which is pretty cool. If you haven't done so, make sure that you find me on Facebook. Just type in facebook.com and check out Michael Baptiste. Search for me. You'll definitely find me somewhere there on Facebook. Okay, good. So we got Greg. Greg calling in from Tennessee. Well, hey, howdy, Greg. Welcome, man. Welcome to the webinar. Awesome stuff. Hey, I'm excited too. We got Susan. Susan calling from Montreal. Nice. That's Canada. Nice. Very nice. I'll tell you an interesting story about Canada in a bit. But all right, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Okay, so we got Richard. My man Richard's calling. Oh, nice. Richard's in Miami. Nice, Rich. I'm also from Miami, bro. So hey, welcome to Miami, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Nice. We got Jasper for calling from North Carolina. Oh man, awesome, Jasper. Welcome to the call. Definitely have seen your name before. You've definitely been hanging out on the list. Welcome to the call, brother. Welcome to the call. Cool stuff. Cool. So we got Cliff on the call tonight. Welcome, Cliff. Cliff's calling from California. Welcome to the call, Cliff. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. And again, we got people still jumping onto the call right now. It's pretty exciting. So if you have not done so, just give me a shout out. Let me know where you're from. I want to shout you out. Let everybody know you're in the building tonight, because that's what it's about, baby. It's all about making sure that you're in the building. Your presence is known, that you're here to dominate. Excellent stuff. We got Lisa calling in. Lisa calling in from New York. Welcome, Lisa. Welcome from New York. Nice. We got Hugo. Hugo. I hope I'm saying that right. Hugo. We got Hugo calling from Sweden. Welcome to the call, Hugo. Dan calling in from Australia. Man, this is excellent, man. So we got a huge international crowd tonight. So look, if you have not done so, just drop it in the chat box. Let me know where you're from so I can give you a quick little shout out. We had a ton of people register for today's call. So just again, let me know where you're calling from. Excellent. We got my man George is also from Miami. Welcome to the call, George. As we say in Miami, Viva los Miami, right? I don't even think. Buenvenidos a Miami. Yeah, my Spanish, I got a little bit of Spanish, a little rusty. Dale, I said it. Dale, dale. Oh, nice. We got Anika calling in from Atlanta. I hope I said it. I hope I said it right. Anika calling in from Atlanta. Excellent stuff, man. Excellent stuff. We got Richard calling in from Texas. Welcome to the call, Richard. There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, I'm excited too, man. We got some great stuff we're gonna cover. Now, we got Ron calling in. Ron's also from Texas. Okay, little Texas takeover in the building. Spanglish in Miami. Yes, that is. We do speak Spanglish in Miami. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Man, we got a lot of people on the call tonight, man. This is awesome. What's up, Fred? Welcome, Fred. Welcome, Fred. Fred calling in from New Hampshire. That's pretty cool. Eve. I can't pronounce your name. I'm just gonna say Eve. It's yeah. I'm just gonna say Eve. Welcome, Eve. We got Eve calling in from Sweden. Welcome to the call, Eve. All right, excellent, excellent, excellent. So look, again, we still got people jumping onto the call right now. I know everybody, you probably put the kids to bed, or you probably just had dinner, or you got off work, whatever you're doing. Welcome to the call. And if you're just jumping on right now, just let me know where you're from. Again, so I can give you a quick little shout out, because we are going to get this webinar started, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very excited about this. I'm very pumped. We got a lot of people here on the call. The GoToWebinar registration limit was like 100 and no 250. We nearly reached that limit. We got a ton of people here on this call tonight. So we're gonna get this thing started. We're gonna get rocking and rolling, okay? And again, just make sure that you can hear my screen. Hear my screen. Just make sure that you can see my screen and hear my voice a-okay. All right. All right. Cool. So let's get into today's webinar now. First thing first. This is the first big client in 2 weeks, where you learn how to secure your first client before you even present your offer. Now, I know a lot of people have been hitting me up on Facebook. It's just been pandemonium how many messages I've been getting on Facebook about people wanting to learn this formula, learn the system, and I'm gonna do my best to give you as much information as I can on this webinar. Okay, we got a lot of information, but I'm gonna give you my absolute best. That's one thing I can tell you. So first thing I want to start with is why. Rather than telling you about how to get clients and all this stuff, let's start with the why, right? Because when you're down and you're stuck, the only thing that's going to keep you going is your why. So let me tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing, okay? We believe in challenging the status quo by helping entrepreneurs think differently. Period. So right there, if you believe in what I believe in, then this is going to be something that's going to hit home and resonate with you. But if you don't believe in what I believe in and we believe in, that's okay too. You might as well just jump off the webinar now and go back to the way life was before. Your world gets rocked in a little bit. Okay. Now, make sure that you got pen and paper handy and make sure that you're taking notes because we're going to get into some really high level content, some content that's been able to help me attract multiple 8-figure clients into my business, as well as, bring in one client that paid me over $100,000 of equity in his business. Okay. So high level stuff getting ready to take place. Let's get into it. So first thing first, who is this for, right? Who is this for? Who's this webinar for? Well, let me tell you. This is for anyone who already has a business, creates income from their specialized knowledge, meaning consultants, coaches, strategists, salesmen, trainers, business owners, and impactors. Okay, if you're a lawyer or a therapist, this can also work for you, all right? But bottom line is this, if you make an impact for your clients with your knowledge, then this is for you. Okay, and if you're looking to make an impact, this is also for you because we're going to be sharing some golden nuggets. All right, not to put a lot of hype into this, but I know that this is something that has a potential to change your life. So moving forward, in the next 60 minutes, this is my promise to you. Okay, this is my promise you're going to learn in the next 60 minutes. You're going to learn how to secure your first big client before you present your offer. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that here in this webinar. Okay, you're going to learn how to charge between $2,500 to $10,000 plus price points for your specialized packages, and that's on the low end. Okay, that's on the low end. When you really take action on the system, you'll be able to charge much more than that, really depending upon the value that you provide. But we'll talk about that. And I also promise to show you 6 high velocity business models that automatically demand high ticket prices. So who's excited to learn this information? Let me know. Type yes into the chat box if this is something that you're excited to learn about. If you were, if this is something that resonates with you, if you feel like this is something that can help you and benefit your business. If that's you, type yes into the chat box. Oh man, we got the yeses flying in. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, yes. Greg says yes. Anika says yes. George says yes. Fred says yes. Hugo says yes. Steve says yes. Excellent. Ron says yes. I got a hell yeah. That's what I'm talking. Hey, I'm also excited. I'm also excited, Steve. I'm also excited, man. So, continue forward. The 3 factors to wealth, okay? This is the first thing I want to break down to you, which is wealth, okay? Because that's what we want to build here. So the first factor to wealth is your lifestyle. What type of lifestyle do you want? What type of lifestyle do you see yourself having? Do you see yourself having a lifestyle where you work 4 hours a day and then the rest of the day you're off doing other activities that benefit you or help you grow your business or spending time with your family? Do you want to travel? Do you want to just take off and travel the entire world? Or do you want to take the money that you make and build schools in Africa, and build hospitals in different countries? Because that's my intention, okay? But the first thing you got to focus on is the lifestyle. And the reason I say the lifestyle first is because this determines your why. Okay, this is why you want to make money. This is why you want to go out and get large size clients to really maximize your income. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So the next factor to your wealth is your income. Now, it's no secret. In order to create wealth, not only do you need the other factors like love, relationships, community, friendship. You need those factors to wealth. Wealth is just not about money, but income is huge. Okay. How much money do you want to make? You have to determine that for yourself. We're going to talk a lot more about that. But this is another factor to wealth. When your lifestyle is in place, and you have a target lifestyle you want to reach, then it's much easier to focus on a certain level of income to create that lifestyle that you want. And what about the impact? What kind of impact do you want to make on the world around you? Impact is what it's all about. Okay. We live in a world where value is exchanged for things like money, things like houses, things like property, materials. The only way that you can really make a difference in your wealth is by creating an impact in other people's lives. So you want to focus on the impact that you're making, okay? So make sure that you're taking notes on this. Make sure that you're focusing on creating an impact in other people's lives. So a remarkable business must focus on all 3 of these. With just 2 or less, you will self-sabotage your business. Okay, I've seen it many times before. I even have people that I talk with now and consult with. Their businesses have been sabotaged because they have not been focusing on these three factors to wealth. Okay, so let me know. Does this sound familiar? Does this sound like you? Do you have some months where money just flows in, then other months where it's an unknown factor about where the next client is coming from or where the next big sale is coming from? And if that's you, it's okay. Make sure type it into the chat box. Let me know if this sounds like you. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm able to connect here with you and make sure that there's interaction because again, I'm not just doing this for the heck of it. I'm doing this to help you. Okay, and I want to make sure that I better understand where you are. So just let me know if this sounds like you. Just type yes into the chat box. Okay. Do you struggle to find clients and find yourself staring at the ceiling, worrying where the next client is going to come from? Is that you? Does that sound like you? And do you know that within you, you got everything it takes to make a bigger impact for your clients, but afraid that if you charge more money, that nobody will pay it. Okay, and listen, it's okay. We got yeses coming into the chat box. People raising their hands, and that's okay if that's you. Okay, I totally understand it. Do you feel like other people are dominating in their businesses, and deep down you get upset because it should be you? You know it. You know you had everything it takes, but seeing other people crush it, seeing other people posting their income screenshots on Facebook or talking about how much money they make or how many places they travel to, does that make you upset deep down inside? And do you ever get caught up working more hours online than you spend in real life and feel like you're burning yourself out? Let me know. Again, we got yeses coming into the chat box, but again, let me know, okay? Because I want to make sure that I'm speaking to the right person, okay? That that's the most important thing here. I want to make sure that I'm talking to the right person, okay? And do you feel like your current approach to creating bigger sales and more income in your business is just not working out the way you wanted it to? Just let me know. Type yes into the chat box if that's you, okay? And again, the yeses are flying in, but and listen, I want to congratulate you for being being confident enough to admit that there's a problem. There is a problem, okay? And the first step to getting over a problem is just admitting it. Creating self-awareness that there is a problem. All right. And do you feel like there's an invisible ceiling on your income? No matter where you're at, whether you've been online for quite some time, you have a business, but things just aren't working the way you want them to. Things just aren't growing the way you want them to grow. Do you feel like that's you? Do you feel like there's just something stopping your income? Well, I want to talk about that on this webinar. Okay, we're gonna dive deep into that. So here's the real problem. The real problem is that you don't know the system. You see, everything we do in life, there's a system involved. The reason people get straight A's in school, or they excel at athletics, or even they get their license for some sort of really they get the real estate license or they pass the bar. Well, the reason they do that, they're able to accomplish these things, is because they understand the system that they're involved in. And not only do they understand the system, but they excel in the system, and they just follow step one, step two, step three, right? Like if you're in school, how do you get an A? Study hard, do the homework, pass the test, right? A system that's simple for anyone to follow, and that's the real problem. So let's talk about this. Let's get into this. Okay, so this is the beauty. All you got to do is find out the right system. And look, the key is once you have your system in place, you'll be able to close new clients for your big ticket program before they even see an offer. Okay, this is one of the most wonderful things that I've been able to do. With some of the bigger clients that I've worked with, I approach the situation just thinking to myself, okay, well, I know I have a ton of value to provide for this client, and at the end of the day, this client, they don't care about what I have. They don't care about anything. All they care about is what can I do for them. So following a system, presenting an offer becomes effortless because they already know you have what they need to solve their problem. Okay. And you can automatically stand out as the Rolls Royce of your industry. You can command any price because you hold the solution that your clients will beg for. Okay. They'll beg for your solution, bottom line. So, and once you have your system, the impact you'll make in the lives of your clients will be worth more than money. You'll also be paid big money to solve your client's deepest problem. So what I mean by this is that by making an impact in somebody's life, solving a problem for them, right? Helping them grow their business or double their business, this does so much for their life because it affects their family. Think about their kids, right? Or maybe they don't have kids. Think about what they'll be able to do for their parents or their their immediate friends or whatever it is in their life. Maybe they want to donate to charity. By you helping them solve their problem, you'll make an impact in their life that will spread like a ripple in the water. Okay. And that's the whole purpose of you making an impact. And the results your clients will get will almost surprise you. Okay. They will surprise you. I'll talk a little bit more about it as we get into this webinar. But you'll be generating testimonials and making an impact like a beast. Okay. If you've ever seen Wolverine, X-Men, that is the beast that you'll become. Okay. Once you have your system in place. So I want you to understand this one thing about the flow of how this will go. Okay. Because there's a flow to this, just like water. High level coaches and consultants don't depend on luck, referrals, or chance. Okay. So you want more clients, you want more business coming into your life to make more impact, to make more income, have a better lifestyle. Well, you can't depend on luck. You can't just, say, hey, I'm going to roll the dice today and let's see what happens. You have to have a system in place to work for you. And the top people, they have a system in place for creating big clients and big sales automatically at the prices they demand while delivering the service with leverage. Let me know if leverage is something that sounds interesting to you and that's something that you want to create in your business. Let me know if you want leverage in your business. Just type it into the chat box. Again, let me know if leverage is something that you want in your business. Okay, good. We got the yeses flying in. Greg says yes. Steve says yes. Ivana says yes. Hugo says yes. Anika says definitely. Ron says yes. Awesome stuff. Christina says yes. Okay, good, good. Okay, hey, yeses are flying on in. Good stuff. So look. Okay, look. All right, let's get back here. Impact, lifestyle, and income. These are the three factors of wealth, okay? And once you have all of these factors of wealth working systematically together for you, you create a life-changing business, okay? It'll change everything once you have all of these working together, and it really revolves around you having a system in place where you have maximum leverage. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through that system right now. So if you're excited to see what this system is all about, just drop me a yes into the chat box so we can continue. Again, we got a ton of people on this call. We were close to maxing out the registrations, but again, a ton of people here showed up tonight. Listen, congratulations definitely for showing up. But I want to know, is this something that you want to learn? Do you want to learn this system? Just give me a yes into the chat box. Okay, yes, 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 hell yes. I love that. Okay, yes, ready, yes, let's do it. Go for it. Go, yes, yes. Okay, all right, good. Let's get right into it. But first, who am I? Like, who is this guy that you're listening to? Who the heck is this guy? Like, what the frick is this guy all about? Well, let me tell you just a little bit about me, okay? So, I'm Michael Baptiste. I'm a six-figure online marketing expert, award-winning product creator, and also an international consultant. I've been making a full-time income online for quite some time now, and I actually got started with online marketing about 5 years ago while I was in college. And but even before I got started, and I'll just tell you this real quick. My background, I wasn't always successful. Just so you know, like I know I'm telling you, oh, I'm so good. Blah, blah. Look, I wasn't always successful. I'll just be honest with you. I was a street kid. I played basketball. I got a basketball scholarship, $42,000 scholarship, and I got injured. And I had my whole plans to go to the NBA. I was going to the league. That was my whole thought. I was like, bro, I'm going to the league. I'm going to the league. I'm going to the league. Then one day, next thing you know, boom, I get hurt. I blew out my knee. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't Michael Jordan, but I was a really, really great athlete. So what ended up happening after I got hurt, I felt my life was over. I literally thought like, damn, this is it. I have no more purpose to live. I'm being serious. I have no more purpose to live once I got injured and I realized basketball might not be my future. I fell into a real deep depression. Fell into a real bad drug addiction. After my first surgery, they gave me pills. Took those pills. Next thing you know, those one pill led to the next pill. This pill led to hitting this. Hitting that led to smoking that. Smoking that led to putting this in you. I mean, it got real bad. Had to do some therapy. Had to go, get some rehab. A lot of rehab actually. And I ended up dropping out of college. Dropped out of college, kind of gave everything up. Well, I always knew I was a smart guy, but I just said, what do I have to live for? There's nothing to live for. Got in some trouble, and just things weren't going right. got back into school again, another scholarship, but this time around, got kicked off the team again for doing drugs, and it was a rough ride for me. And then one day, as I'm sitting on the couch at a friend's party, we were partying, everybody's doing drugs, everybody's high, everybody's doped up, you know. I sat there and I said, you know what, man, I'm wasting my life. This is not the lifestyle I want. There are people they're putting stuff up their nose, they're swallowing stuff, they're snorting different colored powders, and I'm just like, you know what, this is a little too much for me, man. I was doing the basic stuff. I was just smoking this, swallowing one of those. But you guys, bottom line, it got out of hand. I sit on the couch like 3, 4 in the morning. I said, bro, I'm done. I'm done partying, man. I'm out of this life, man. Once the party's over, bro, take me home. So I sit down, I watch infomercials, and 3, 4 in the morning, an infomercial comes on. A guy talking about how he made millions of dollars from the internet. So I'm like, what? Millions from the internet? No way you can do that. I buy the guy's book. It comes in the mail the next week, and I take action on the book. And it's funny, I didn't even have a laptop at the time. I had no computer. I had to go to the computer room at my university to like do what he said. I took action right away. In my first 10 minutes, I made $20. It was amazing. I jumped up, I ran around the computer lab. I was like, oh my God, I made money, I made money. So from that point, that spiraled me into, a search and find, trial and tribulation for I think about 2.5 years. I was just searching for the real way to make some serious money online. Now, granted, while I was in college, I was making thousands of dollars a month with eBay, outsourcing, and selling my own products and doing some affiliate marketing as well. So I was a little all over the place and not really, taking anything serious. So I get to my senior year, just about to graduate, and I say, you know what, man? Let me do something that nobody's ever done. Let me put together a student-hosted, self-hosted seminar teaching people what I've been doing to make money online. And again, we got people still jumping onto the call. That's pretty cool. And let me show everybody what I've been doing to make money online. So I did the seminar. I went out, I promoted it myself. I got a bunch of people to join the seminar, to come to the seminar. People came from, there were business owners from the local community. There was tons of students. There was staff there. My professors, teachers were there. It was a packed seminar. And this is my first seminar teaching people how I was making money online as a college kid. So I was a little nervous, but I knew at the same time this was my breakthrough. So I did the seminar. It was like a 2.5 hour seminar, and it was so amazing. Like, people got so much value. People actually took the information, went out, started making money online when they never heard of internet marketing before. And at the end of the seminar, a man walked up to me. He said, "Hey man, I like what you got going on. Here's my card." So I called him the next day. He was like, "Listen, I really like what you got going on. Let me see if you can really do what you say you can do." So I'm like, "Hey, come on, bro. I'll do this." So he says, "I got something I've been trying to sell for 2 years. It's a fur cheetah mink coat. If you can sell this, you're the guy I'm looking for." So I'm in Miami. It's springtime. It's like 90 degrees outside. I'm like, bro, nobody's gonna buy this, man. But I said, you know what? This is my shot. Give me that jacket. It's already sold. That's what I told him. And he'd been trying to sell it for 2 years. He was unsuccessful. In 6 weeks, I sold that cheetah mink coat on eBay. The guy was so blown away. I wired his half of the money for the expensive jacket. It was like a $4,000 jacket. Wired him his half the money. He says, "You know what? Let's talk." So we started negotiating, started talking about deals, started talking about, bringing me into the company. He wanted me to be his internet marketing advisor and consultant. And one day he calls me, says, "Look, I really like you, man. So I spoke it over with the board of directors, spoke it over with the president, and we want to award you $50,000 of equity in our beverage company." $50,000. I mean, what would what would that do for you if a client just called you and said, "Hey, here's 50 grand"? For me, it was a paradigm shifting moment. It changed everything. Like, I was there on the phone, and it was like the Twilight Zone was going off in the background, like doo, 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 because here I am, this college kid, making a couple $1,000 to buy beer and ramen noodles. And now, this guy who, once millionaire in a different industry, now building up another company, says, "Hey, look, man, here's 50 grand. Changed my entire life." Funny thing was, the next day he called me back. He said, "Look, Mike, I really thought about it, man, and we really want you to stay with us. So here's another 25,000." Now, granted, I was just a college kid. I haven't even graduated yet, right? And here I am walking out of school with, being worth over $75,000. then as I was getting ready, and I lived in China. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. I lived in China for a little bit, and just before I traveled to China, he called me at the airport. He said, "Look, man, for all the hardships you've been through, all your hard work, and we really want you to be a part of this. We're building $1 billion brand here with this beverage. Here's another 25,000." And just like that, from one individual client, I'd collected $25,000 of equity from that client. And since then, I've gone on to work with tons of more clients. I've gone on to help my clients succeed. But I just want to give you my backstory of where my breakthrough really came and how I started. Me coming from being a street kid to getting my life together. Even overcoming a serious drug addiction and dropping out of college, being kicked off 2 basketball teams, and you know I'm not perfect, okay? And I come here to you today not as somebody who's like, oh yeah, no, I come to you just being real, just being me. All right, I'm a regular person just like you are. I've been through some stuff, but regardless of what I've been through, there's always a solution to every problem. So to give just to wrap up who I am just a little bit more, because I know you guys are like, come on, man, come on, give me the content, give me the meat and potatoes, give me the meat and potatoes, right? So let me get the meat and potatoes. I'm known as Mr. Over Deliver, and with myself and my team, we've helped entrepreneurs add 5 figures or more to their income within just a few weeks. Just a few weeks. You learn about a few of those guys, okay? And one of the things we do, we specialize in helping clients and students maximize their revenue based on their time and experience to command premium prices. And I've been able to do some really cool things thanks to my online business. It's completely changed my life. From being able to travel the world to different countries, being able to just hang out. There I am at the bottom left, jumping out of a plane. I've skydived. It was pretty cool. I'll probably be doing it again next month. But these are some cool things I've been able to do, and it's totally thanks to the freedom that I've been able to create thanks to my online business. Okay, lifestyle is number one, income and impact. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, because now it's time. Okay, now you know who I am. But look, let's talk about you. Let's focus on you, right? The first question you have to ask yourself is, what are you worth? Like, what are you worth to the marketplace? How much value can you provide to the marketplace? And how much value can you provide for other people? Let's get into that. So what are you worth? What determines your worth? Like, what determines the value of your product or your service? Anybody want to take a guess? Let me know. Type yes to the chat box if you got an answer to this question or have an idea that determines what you are worth. Okay, we got some response coming in. So you are worth the time that you put in. Okay, well, not necessarily, but that's a good thought. Okay, no, exactly. So my man Ron just said you determine what you're worth, and that's absolutely true. So you determine your worth, but most people think, is it the marketplace? Because somebody else is charging, $2 grand or $5 grand or $10 grand, you have to charge that much, or somebody charges 197, you have to charge that much. Is that it? Is it the marketplace that determines your worth? Is it the length of your programs? Maybe you've got a 6 month program that you're doing. Is it the length of your program that determines the value and that determines how much you're worth? Or is it how much you over deliver by giving them more stuff? Right? A lot of people come from the internet marketing world and they think, oh yeah, if I give them a software tool, if I give them a plugin, if I give them six PLRs, if I give them an ebook, if I give them 17 downloads, if I give them 17 hours of content, they're gonna love it so much and I can charge so much money. It's funny, but seriously, people who come from the internet marketing niche, this is what they think. They think that the more stuff that they give to their clients, they can charge more. Well, look, you're kicking yourself in the teeth if you're using these metrics to decide how much you're worth. If any one of these are a factor in saying, this is my price, then you are kicking yourself in the teeth, and that's difficult to do, right? What determines your worth is you, and I'm gonna talk about that. So most people think, look, is it based on what other people are doing, right? Is it based on, oh, well, Steve and Joe Blow, they're charging 197, so I should charge 147 to get clients in? Man, what? Get out of here, right? Like, look, why should other people limit what's possible for you? Like, why should anybody limit what's possible for you, right? Look, if you know a guy named Stevie Wonder, Stevie Wonder's blind, but despite him being blind, he's one of the best musicians, most, best top-notch talent when it comes to playing the piano in the entire world, if not the history of time. And he's blind. He can't even see the keyboard, but he's one of the best. So look, it doesn't matter what anybody says about you, okay? Be the best of the best, and your price will be irrelevant, okay? If you are the best of the best, it doesn't matter what your price is. People are going to come to you because they know that they're getting more worth, or more value worth than the money they're paying, okay? And is it determined by the time that you put in? And a lot of consultants that I talk to and speak with, they think, oh yeah, man, I got to put in 17 hours. If I put in 17 hours, then I can charge X, Y, Z. Look, man, look, it's not about that. It's just straight up. It's not about that, okay? It's not about the time you put in, because look, here's the reality. You only have 86,400 seconds in a day. 86,400 seconds in a day. If you do the math, that's not a lot. That's not a lot. Okay. We live our life moment by moment. A lot of people say, oh, take it one day at a time. It's impossible to take life one day at a time. There are 86,400 seconds in a day. You got to take life moment by moment. I hope that hits home with somebody out there. Hopefully you. And look, if you're working for clients every single second of the day, right, using this model, you'll quickly start to hate your life and your business. Then at that point, it's like, look, time for money. Look, it's just like a job. Ew, who wants a job? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying jobs are bad. Jobs are good because they provide consistent income that you can use to invest in your business. But if you're looking at a job, as something that's going to carry you on through retirement, you're making a mistake. Straight up. I want to talk about this perception versus actual. Okay, and when I say perception versus actual, I want you to think value, perceived value versus actual value. Okay, so is it based on stuff, adding a bunch of unnecessary stuff to do more damage than good to the client? Listen, people don't want more stuff. They don't want to be overwhelmed. They want the solution. So you want to deliver people the solution. Okay, and that's done by saying, hey, here's point A, here's point B. Take 3 steps to the right and you'll arrive from point A to point B. That'll be $10,000, right? Look, just think to yourself. If you're in the mountains, right? Let's say, for example, you're in the Rocky Mountains. Let's say you're in the Rocky Mountains, right? And you're lost. You don't know where to go, but you know that way, like, somewhere there's an exit to the Rocky Mountain, and you can get to your car, go drive home, and be safe, right? But you don't know how to get there. Well, if someone, let's say a mountain man walks by, you say, "Hey, mountain man, can you help me get to this location so I can go find my car?" The mountain man's gonna say, "Yeah, no problem. That's gonna be $5,000. That's gonna be $10,000." You don't care how much money it costs because you want the solution. You want to get to your car so you can get home. Same situation with your clients. They don't want a whole bunch of directions. They don't want to say, oh yeah, you turn left and go right, then you go back. Look, here's a map. Here's 17 tents, right? Here's a pitchfork. Here's a flashlight. Here's a first aid kit. They don't. You follow me? Let me know. Type yes into the chat box if this is making sense. I want to break this down and make this real easy, real simple to understand. If you're following me, just type yes into the chat box. Let me know this is making sense. We got yes, yes, oh yeah. Follow you. Good. Yes, yes, making sense. Okay, good stuff. I'm glad you're following me. So, is it based on the value of your offer? Okay, sorry. The value of your offer is based on the outcome you're delivering, because that's all that your clients care about. Okay, that's all they care about. That's it. People don't want to hear your life story. I told you mine, so you can just get to know me a little bit better, and so we can really connect here. Okay, but people care about their solution, so you got to deliver that solution to them. And what's it worth to have that outcome, right? If you're, like I said, if you're trapped in the Rocky Mountains and you got to get home, you don't know where the hell to go. You're afraid you're going to get eaten by bears. There's poisonous spiders out there and snakes. What's it worth to get out of the Rocky Mountains, in a situation like that, get to your car and get home to safety? What's that worth to you? Can you really put a price tag on that, on your safety? It's priceless, right? And that's what your clients think when you present the solution to them. Okay. So now I want to talk about perception versus actual value. So first thing first, just let me know in the chat box who, well, I'm not going to say who, but do you know any of these 2 brands? Let me know. Do you know any of these 2 brands? Yes. Okay, we got some yeses flying in. All right. Yes, yes, I know them. I'm on one of them right now. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so these 2 brands that you're looking at right here, right? Most people think to themselves, oh, those are just 2 computer companies. All right, well, I guess, to most people, they think computer company. Well, one is a computer company, but one is a way of life. One of them is a lifestyle, right? One of them is a community. One of them is it's just deeper than a computer company. But both of these, they do the same thing. They serve practically the same purpose, right? And this is where we're gonna get into this perceived versus actual. Okay, so let's talk about Macs and let's talk about PC because we all know iPhones and all the other gadgets and gizmos they have. But let's just focus right here on the most simple, most well-known brand products that these two companies provide people, right? So let's talk about Macs. Well, what does a Mac do? And what is a Mac? Well, and also Apple. So it's a technology-based company, right? And I mean it's Apple PC, okay? But you get the point. It's a technology-based company, right? They provide customized software for their users, right? They provide computers and hardware, right? They've got Macs, they got laptops, they got desktops, right? Right? Exactly. Okay, we got yeses flying in. Good. They got MP3 players, they got tablets, they got accessories, they got all this stuff, right? Okay, now let's compare and let's see what it is that Windows or PC offers, right? So they're a technology-based company. They have customized software. They sell computers and hardware. They have MP3 players and tablets, and they have accessories that they sell. So this is the actual value. This is like what people get. Okay, this is the actual value. Now let's switch the focus around and let's talk about one of the keys to you selling high ticket. Okay, perceived value. So perceived value of Apple. Let's get into that first. So whenever you buy an Apple product or a Mac product, you're considered cool. Okay, you are socially elite. When you've got a MacBook open at a coffee shop, people look at you and they think you're part of an in club, right? No matter where you go, you have immediate status. You're automatically seen as someone who's got the money. They got the dollars in their pocket. They're a baller. They're rolling in the dough, right? You have unstoppable protection because no matter what virus tries to hit your computer, listen, man, iOS or Mac, whatever, I don't use Mac, but they're going to be there to protect you day in and day out, right? And people with Macs and Apple products, look, they challenge the status quo, okay? Because Macs and Apple, that's not normal. That's not customary. That's not what it's supposed to be, right? Now, if you see what I'm getting at here, and if you agree, you can just shake your head. You can say yes. You can type it in the chat box. I invite you to type it in the chat box. Type yes into the chat box. Okay. Let's talk about PC. Well, here's the reality with PC. PC, you get efficiency, right? You got to buy a PC. Oh yeah, it's very efficient. It's a very efficient machine. I know it's going to work, right? It's a functioning machine. It works, right? It's not very protected. Like you got to download virus protector, and you got to download all type of gizmos and malware bytes and all this stuff. You got to download so much, right? And you're like everybody else when you got a PC, right? They're plain Jane, right? The same guys that work in the science lab and they work at desktops in Wall Street, they use PCs. They use Windows. It's boring. And look, PC, they are the status quo. PCs are the status quo. Okay? Now, let's get even deep into the perceived value here. Look, Macs and Apple products are more expensive, they're more desired, and there's always an exclusive supply. I mean, am I right or am I right? Versus PCs, they're averagely priced. You can buy them anywhere, right? They're less desired. Not everybody doesn't want them as much as they want Macs, and they're available everywhere. So I hope that you see the perceived difference between PC and Mac. Okay. Now, what's the big difference? Well, the big difference is all about the perception, and more importantly than just the perception, it's the way that Mac and Apple positions themselves in the marketplace. So how does this go back? How does this relate to you? So let's get back into how this relates to you. You want to position yourself as the best, and there are some ways to do it. You want to always start with why. People always hear the what, the how, and the why, right? They always hear the what, the how, the why. But if you start with the why, the what, the how, the why is what gets into a person's inner motivation. The why is what cuts into a person's heart. If someone tells you, "Oh yeah, I'm looking to get rich," oh, why are you looking to get rich? Oh, so I can do some stuff. But if a person says, "Hey, I'm looking to build schools in Africa, hospitals and cities in Africa, so the way I'm going to do it is by getting rich," it rolls off the tongue differently. Okay, and that's how you want to position yourself. Start off with the why and position yourself as the best. So why shift your positioning and charge higher prices? This is the big question. This is the kicker here. Here are a couple reasons why. Your clients are confident they're investing in the absolute best, right? They're investing in the best. If you've got, you know, a net worth of over $1 million, you're confident investing in a Rolls Royce because you know you're getting the best wheels money can buy. They're super committed to getting results. Just hire people, higher level people. They want results and they're committed. They'll do anything it takes to get those results. They take all out massive action without blaming, without fear, and without desperation. They are literally the best clients that you'll ever work with. Work ever, period, point blank. And one of the beautiful things that you know I'm very proud of is that our average clients are able to get their first client within 2 weeks or less of working with us. So once we get started, get them rolling, get them rocking and rolling, they take action and they get results. Okay, and that's what it's about. That's what you want to do for yourself. You want to position yourself to help your clients get results immediately. Immediately. Okay. And if you're thinking about how you're going to position yourself as the best, just let me know. Type yes into the chat box. Let me know if you are currently thinking about brainstorming ways that you can position yourself as the best in your marketplace. Again, just drop me a yes in the chat box. So let me know. Yes. Okay. Got the yeses flying in. Good stuff. Okay. So let's move forward because, again, we got a lot more content to cover. So if anything were possible, what would you charge? Would you be okay having a straight face and saying, hey, yeah, this marketing package is going to be $50,000 for the next 3 months? Would you be comfortable walking up to a client telling them that? Okay, what would you charge? That's the real key. So I want to talk now about getting your life back and how to stop trading time for dollars, because with only 86,400 seconds in a day, there's only so much you can do, right? So let's talk about this. So aside from not charging close to enough money, the majority of the coaches and consultants that we work with, most of them trade more time for the money they receive. Now, I'm not saying they make bad money. I'm not saying they don't make any money. But what I'm saying is they trade more time than the money they receive. They receive the money, and all the money can do is just sit there and stack up in the bank. But they're not able to experience the lifestyle that comes with that money. And look, we believe your business should create freedom for you and your clients. And if not, you will self-sabotage your business. Listen, I've seen it happen more than once. Like, you know, there's a kid, I'm not gonna mention his name, but he came in the game, started making some buku crazy money, but he wasn't positioning himself to leverage his information, to leverage his knowledge and help his clients, and he burnt out. Not only did he burn out, but you know, things spiraled down for him, and he had a real bad crash. So, more about getting your life back. Do you have to create a new strategy 80 to 90% of the time for each new client that you work with? So is it, oh, back to the drawing board? Oh, new client came in today. Oh, back to the drawing board. Oh, we got another client. Back to the drawing board. Is that what it's like for your business? Well, you're definitely not getting your life back with that model. That's straight up. Look, the fastest way to leverage your time is to take that 90% and deliver it online, group training program. Okay, because again, this is the way you create leverage in your business. This is where you create more time freedom for yourself so you can go out and do the things you want. Right? And look, we work with many marketers from all over the world, and we haven't met a single one who couldn't leverage their service this way. It's funny. I was actually talking to a girl today at a cigar shop when they hang out there, and she was telling me about how she wanted to do some things in real estate, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, look, why don't you just create it in a leverage way? And I told her the model that I use. I told her the model that I taught my clients, and she was like, you know what? I was actually thinking about that exact same thing because it is genius. It is genius, and we're gonna talk more about that. Look, because it's group training, it only takes a few hours a week to deliver and create the content. And because it's online, you can deliver and service your clients from anywhere around the world. Anywhere around the world. I mean, anywhere. Okay. So where would you travel to if you could travel anywhere? I mean, if you had that leverage, if you had that time freedom, I mean, if you had the income coming into your business, where would you travel to? So I want to tell you Lee's story. So Lee's one of my clients, and he's in a solo ad and traffic niche. When he came to us, he was only selling solo ads and not making big profits. Well, we helped him create a perfect sales funnel with a $2,000 program. It's 6 weeks long. It's delivered 100% online. He delivered one weekly training plus a question and answer session per week. A total of 8 to 10 hours invested. 8 to 10 hours. That's all he invested. Okay, I mean, he set up the funnel and to deliver it all, 8 to 10 hours in total. Okay, So this is one of the messages he sent me. This following message is 2 hours after the first coaching close. Another one, 2 clients, boom, baby. So in his first 2 weeks, he closed $4,000 in sales and has been profiting massively in his new program. And this is another message he sent. I reached out to him recently. I said, hey, man, how's it going? He said, yes, one of my students is successful. He's happy. All is amazing, man. And I said, wow, so awesome, man. And he said, and I got a blank that word out, and I got a load of orders for my solo ads. It's going crazy. And I spoke to him a couple days ago, and now his business, he's doing 5 figures a month now. So he's very excited. I'm excited for him, and he's going to the next level. That's what it's all about. So I want to talk about the formula to monetizing your following. So anybody got a following in here? Let me know. Do you got an email list, or you got some Facebook friends? You got some Twitter followers, Facebook followers? Are you a part of a Facebook group or two? Let me know. Type yes into the chat box if you have any of these things. Okay, Steve says no. Greg says yes. Ron says yes. Okay, good. So a few of you here on this webinar actually have some type of following, whether that's social media, okay, whether that's offline, whether that's email list, whatever it is. You got to follow, and that's a good thing. And this is where we lay out the game plan. Okay, so this is strategy. So what's your tribe wants? So first thing first, when it comes to getting your first client, okay, without even having anything to sell, okay, not without even having a program, you got to figure out what they want. That's the first thing. So now that we have an offer that can improve our income, our lifestyle, and impact, let's talk about how to secure your first client before you present your offer. First thing you got to do, tap into your existing list of fans, customers, leads, Facebook friends, Twitter followers, etc., and survey them. Okay, ask them what's their biggest problem and a few qualifying questions. It's simple. Send them a survey and ask them, hey, what's your biggest problem you're suffering from right now? They're going to respond with the answer. They're going to tell you what the answer is, right? So what you do next is you gather and analyze the data. Then you create a solution to take them from point A, which is the big problem, to point B, which is the big solution. Okay, that's all you got to do. It's simple as that. Now I know it sounds like, oh my God, it sounds so difficult, but it's very simple. It's very, very simple. Okay. So what you do is you create an offer that delivers a solution to their problem. Now this could be a group workshop like Elise did. It could be a done for you service. It could be anything. Just make sure that it is completely leveraged and avoid one-on-one unless the price is high enough. I mean, if the price is right, then you could trade your time for money. But again, that you don't want to trade the time for money unless the price is right. Okay, and I've literally like given my consulting up for $1,000 an hour, and even that is too cheap. That's dirt cheap. Okay, and I'm raising my prices, and that's what you should do. Okay, so let's talk about communicating your value. So what you do is you invite your followers to a webinar or a 3-part video series or a post or a sales page that tells them the survey results and uses this formula. Okay, make sure you're taking notes here. Make sure that you're paying attention. Yes, that means you. Get off Facebook. Get out of it. Close down your email. Look, you should close down every single tab on the internet. You should close down Internet Explorer. You should like put your phone on vibrate if you have not already done so. Everything should be shut down. Okay. This is a formula use. Problem. Present them with a problem. Then you give them ownership of what their life's going to be like once they solve that problem. And also in this ownership phase, you want to give them a reality check. Let them know, look, man, your life is going to suck. And it's going to keep sucking because you're not solving this problem. And then after they take ownership of the problem, then you give them the solution. It's simple as that. Like, I'm not going to complicate this, but that's the formula. Tell them what the problem is. Give them a reality check, and also allow them to feel what it's going to feel like once they have that solution, and then give them the solution. Okay, this is how you do it. You tell them the problem. Be real about it. Don't say, oh, things are not working out. No, let them know. Look, man, your marriage is messed up. Your marriage is messed up, man, and you're going to lose your wife. It's going to happen. You're going to get a divorce. She's going to take the house. She's going to take half your money. She's going to take the kids. Okay, that's the reality. And look, you let them know. Look, this problem that you have with your relationship is ruining your life, and it's only going to get worse. You let them know it's certainly going to get worse. And then you prove to them that you have the solution. And proving to them can be providing the value, connecting with them on a emotional level about their problem, showing them testimonials or case studies, okay? And then what you do is once you show them you got the solution, they're confident in you, they believe you got the solution that that they're looking for, that's when you invite them to reach out for help. Okay? And if they're serious, if they're really, really focused on solving the problem, they will reach out for help. Okay, that's how you do it. That's the formula. I know it sounds simple. You're like, oh my God, Mike, it's got to be so much more than that. That's all the solution is. Okay, so I want to just give you this, show you how this works and talk about your first client in 2 weeks. So this is how you get it done. This is how you do it. This is exactly what you have to do right here. You survey your tribe to discover what the biggest problem is that they're suffering from. Okay, whatever problem they suffer from, find out what it is right here. Step one. Next step, design a solution that you can deliver in a leveraged way. Okay, and I don't want to go too deep into this because again we got time here. Definitely want to make sure we stay on schedule. But the next step is offered to them on a webinar, a video series, or a post, a blog post, and you follow this formula: problem, ownership of the solution, and then solution. Because when people can visualize themselves driving that new car, right, when they go for a test drive, or when people can visualize themselves with those new shoes on after they try them on, then they buy. Okay, then they take whatever money they got and they buy straight up. And then what you do is you sign up the people who really want your solution. So if they don't want your solution, that's fine. But the people that do want your solution that are serious, those are the people that you want to work with. Okay. So now I want to tell you Troy's story. So Troy, he's actually he's a friend now, but he came to me and at the time when he started working with me, he was doing okay online, he's making some money, and he spent like $20,000 for his internet marketing education, but he wasn't really making that money back. Like he wasn't getting a good solid return on his investment. And I was like, okay, bro, hey, I get it, man. I'm not gonna charge you 20 grand. My prices are not there right now. They will be for sure, but I can work with you. I can help you out. So this is what happened with Troy. So Troy was a solo ad seller and he helped marketers get traffic to their businesses. We helped him get more sales and create his own 6-week program helping marketers set up their own traffic businesses. So he reached out to his following and use the exact process I just laid out to you. I just showed you the exact process. He used the exact process, okay, and offered them a $5,000 program, way beyond anything he'd ever charged before. Anything. I mean, the most he was charging was like $197, and it wasn't even for his own program. It was like for some affiliate offer, right, or for some funnel stuff. I don't know. It was tiny. So this is what happened for Troy. So Troy closed his first $5,000 sale in 2 weeks, and he did $10,000 in sales in that 1 month. And recently, he's quit his job and moved into a bigger house with his newlywed wife, which is pretty cool. I mean, I was like surprised, like, wow, dude, you make enough money, you moved into a new house, you quit your job, good for you, man. And that's what it's about. He never made this much money online before, and it completely changed his entire business. So, I hit him up on Facebook message a while back, and I said, hey man, how things going? Tell me the results. He said, so 5K was my coaching student, and the other 5K was solo ad sales for 11 days. So, I mean, within 2-week period, 10 grand. I said, boss, haha, that's amazing, bro. Congrats, man. You're up for a 6-figure year and possibly a job quitting month. And his response was, yeah, man, it's getting crazy. Like you say, though, I'd rather close 2 to 3 students a month and build a solid coaching program. Okay, and look, the results speaks for themselves. I can't make this up. All right, this is somebody's life I changed. Now, if you're serious, I definitely will send you an interview and case study I did with Troy, so you can actually listen to the steps he took with me. Everything that he did step by step. You can actually hear it from the horse's mouth. So if you're interested in that case study, definitely at the end of this webinar, I'll give you an opportunity to grab that from me, and also some other really cool things for just hanging out with me on this webinar. So now I want to get into the 6 high velocity business models, okay? Because we're running short on time here. I want to deliver all this information, and I definitely want to be respectful for your time as well as mine and my other clients who I have to speak to tonight, okay? So the 6 high velocity business models. First off is group coaching, okay? Group coaching. I'm from Miami. You already know it's Heat Nation. Believe that. I don't know where you're from, but this is NBA basketball, Heat Nation, baby. So this is where you take a group of people and coach them about one specific topic for 6 to 8 weeks or longer. Now, your coaching program, your group coaching, it doesn't have to be internet marketing related. It doesn't have to be, about sports, or it doesn't have to be about relationships. It can be whatever your superpower is. We're going to talk deeper about that inside of the program. But again, we're short here on time, so I want to get straight to the meat and potatoes. There's no price limit on how much you can charge for group coaching. Look, you just set your goals and end results for clients and charge based on that. Okay, I've literally seen group coaching programs where they cost $75,000 for 6 weeks. $75,000 for 6 weeks. So there's no limit Okay, I've seen coaching programs for $97 for 6 weeks. Okay, there's no limit. Whatever the end result is for your client, how much is that worth to them? How much is it worth to save someone's marriage? Priceless. Okay, that's how you want to think when it comes to this. Consulting. This is a high level practice. I mean, it's been around for ages, centuries. If not longer than centuries, because people always need guidance, right? They always need direction. They always need a way to go. That's no doubt about it. So look, the oldest and most secure methods of doing business as a marketer is consulting. People always need advice from an expert, and they will pay anything for your knowledge. I was asleep the other day, and some kid messaged me. He said, "Hey man, I seen you on Facebook. Can I pay you for 30 minutes of your time?" I was like, "What? That's weird, but all right, whatever. Cool, let's do it." You know, and and this is a model where people will pay you for what you got inside your brain. Literally, like right now, you're saying, "Oh, I don't have anything to value to offer." Look, you wouldn't be here if you didn't. You wouldn't be following me. You wouldn't be hanging out with me. A lot of people here from on my email list and follow me on Facebook and friends with me on Facebook. And we've had chats before. You wouldn't be here right now if you didn't have anything inside your brain to offer the world, right? So look, this is the only model where you're charging people based on your knowledge and time. And again, you want to make sure that the price is right if you're going to go with this model, but this is a fantastic way to make income because people will come to you, and you just have to increase your prices as demand grows, because it will when consulting. Another way is annual masterminds. So if you've never heard of a mastermind before, let me just give you a little bit of a rundown. And this mastermind, these are some high level 8 and 9 figure players, as you can see. But let's get into this. So mastermind, this is where people love to feel like they're a member of an in club, right? They always want to join fraternities. They always want to join societies. They want to join organizations. They want to be a part of a team. They always want to be a part of something. So this is what you do. You take advantage and create your own yearly mastermind. And yearly masterminds, look, the beauty is you can charge anywhere from $25,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $75,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $150,000 a year. Look, there are masterminds I've seen, okay, where they cost $250,000 per year. And if you want to check that out, I think I got the article saved somewhere, but you can just hit me up on Facebook or shoot me an email after the webinar, and I can send that article to you where a guy charges $250,000 a year for his mastermind. Okay. And look, most high level masterminds, again, they cost anywhere from 25 grand to 150K or more per year. Per year. So most times, the members are doing the teaching while you sit back and learn from your students as they network inside of your exclusive club. Okay, this is literally what happened. I have one of my masterminds right now where I coach people on how to launch their internet businesses when they're first getting started. These guys, they're teaming up with each other. They're launching products together. They're partnering up. They're writing each other's sales copy. They're doing some cool stuff. And I just sit back and say, okay, well, hey, you guys have fun. Just make sure, let's just make sure that payment comes in, right? And you can remain a part of the mastermind. But if they don't pay, you just remove them from the mastermind. Simple as that. Okay. So let me know who's getting a lot of value. Are you getting a lot of value from this? Just let me know. Drop something in the chat box. Look, we've been on this webinar almost an hour now, and I want to make sure that you're getting value from this. So if you're getting value from this, if this is making sense, if this is like starting to hit home with you, if your light bulb's going off, type yes into the chat box. Okay, type yes into the chat box. My audio's still working good. We got yeses are flying in. Yes, 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 yes. Hell yeah, definitely. Great stuff. I'm loving it. Keep going. Yes, yes, good. Okay. All right, good. Hey, I'm very honored that I can turn on the light bulb for some of you. And Ron, you definitely will. We definitely will talk after this, Ron, so we can get you started. But continue forward, continue forward. Online mastermind plus live event and retreat. So this image right here, this is actually on my computer background, but I just love it so much. I'm like, yo, this is it, right? So when it comes to online masterminds plus live event retreat, this is more of a hybrid model, right? Where you coach people online for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, however long the program is. And actually, let's talk about here. So you teach a class for 6 to 8 weeks online, okay, and the content is delivered once per week. So after you deliver the content, then you follow it up that very same week with a live question and answer at the end of each week. So what will happen is that, let's say Monday you upload the content into the membership area, and what will happen is that, what will happen is that Once people dive through the content, they're going to start taking action all week. They're going to have questions, right? What you do is that you of course, answer those questions throughout the week, but you take the most asked questions and you put them onto a Word document or load them up into a PowerPoint, and you get answers to those questions for your students and clients. Then at the end of the week, could be Thursday, could be Friday, Saturday, whatever day you choose, okay? You deliver a live question and answer webinar. And this is rather than just, coming on screen showing you a PowerPoint. You get your face on camera. You put your face in front of people. You say, hey, this is my face. Show me your face. Okay. And you allow them to communicate face to face with you. This can be done through Google Hangouts. You can use GoToWebinar. There are a ton of different services online that you can use to create this type of event. But you get on there, you answer questions face to face to create that deeper connection. Then what happens is that you've been talking face to face with people, working with them kind of one on one, not necessarily, right? Online, doing screen shares and all that stuff. Then at the end of it, you invite them out to a free event that costs $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, whatever for the live event, and you invite them to come out to the live event. It could be in your hometown, it could be in an exotic location, it could be in the Bahamas, it could be in Morocco, wherever. I dive deep into some strategies of how to create your own live masterminds. Inside my program, but right now that's all you need to think about, getting them to a place where you can now have a live event. And at that live event, it could be a 2-day, 3-day event, 5-day event, however long you want to set it for, and they've already paid for it by joining your online mastermind plus live event program, which is a hybrid model. Okay, after the course is over, again, clients are invited to a free live event or retreat, while outsiders, people who are outside of the online mastermind, they have to pay premium to enter your live event. So I know this is a hybrid model. This is one where it takes just a little bit more thought process to be put into it. But let me know, does this make sense to you? Does this model right here make sense to you as far as high velocity clients right here? Just let me know. Drop a yes in the chat box so I can make sure that I'm not going over your head. I know not everybody here is super advanced, so just let me know. Type yes into the chat box if this is making sense. If you're following this, yes, it's flying in. Good stuff. I love it. I love it. No, 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 no. I crashed my car into a bridge. All right, we gotta have a little fun. You gotta have a little fun. You can't be all stiff and all, right? You gotta love life, man. You gotta love life and enjoy it. So, pushing forward, done for you services. So this is another model that you can get started with. Okay, and with this one right here, right? With this one right here, with the done for you services, it's very simple. Very, very simple. People are lazy. They're lazy. Let's just admit it. I was just hanging out late, sitting on the couch all Sunday. I literally didn't do anything. Like, I sat on the couch, I watched TV. I didn't want to open my laptop. I like to take some time off. I did a little bit of work on my phone, but that was about it. I maybe worked like an hour and a half on my phone, but that was it. But people are lazy, and I was just being lazy on Sunday, and bam, a client, a sale came in. Okay, and I'm just sitting there, but the system is working for me. But my whole point was that people are lazy, so they love it when someone else does it for them. Okay, business owners, they have too much on their plate, and they're willing to pay someone to help. This is the way it works. Okay, one of my big clients I worked with in the past. They wanted a webinar done. I did a 12-minute webinar. They paid me $1,000. 12-minute webinar, 12 minutes. Took maybe took a few hours of work, and they gave me all the content, so I just had to get on, talk for 12 minutes, edit it up, and bam, $1,000. Now, small job, yes, but that's just an example of people want stuff done for them. So done for you services include marketing systems, sales funnels, SEO, search engine optimization, social media, etc. Provide this type of service for people, and they'll pay you big money just for this one simple service. Okay. And fee plus equity. So this is where you get a slice of the pie. If anybody loves pumpkin pie, this is the sweetest pumpkin pie. It takes a little work, and you got to be good at what you do. But I know a few people here on the call. I was talking to we got somebody called Excel. I was talking to him, talking to you earlier, and you actually know this model, okay? And now it's time to put it to work. So this is a model that I've successfully used, and with my first big client, this is a model that came to me. So I've also had this opportunity presented to me with one of my more recent clients. I turned it down because it didn't fit with my values. It was not in line with my values, okay? But this is one of the best models to create wealth. And if you remember the wealth factors we talked about earlier, this is the big one. So this is by far the best for creating wealth, but it requires some real skill. I mean, this isn't something where you say, hey, here's an ebook, give me a piece of your company. You got to have some skills to really make this model work. But this is a model where you take an upfront fee plus a slice of all the business that you bring in for your clients, right? So if your clients bring in an extra 30 grand a month and you're taking a 25% equity stake in their company, just think about that. Just give it some thought. I'm not gonna do some math here because I'm not a mathematician. I know how to count the money and do the manage my money, but 25% of 30,000, I would say that's what about close to like 8,500 bucks, 7,500 bucks, something like that. Yeah, it's like 7,500 bucks, 8,500 bucks. But that's every single month coming in for work you did one time. This is the best model when it comes to getting big ticket clients. And again, I don't go deep into this right now because again, we are limited on time and I want to make sure I get through all this content. Okay. This model works as long as you are good. You got to be good. Okay. This isn't something I recommend you doing right up front and doing right away because you got to be good. Like you got to be able to deliver results that blow people away. Okay. If you can rock somebody's world, then this model can be for you. Okay. So let's talk about putting all the pieces together in the big client formula in action. Let's talk about this. Again, I just want to remind you the three factors to wealth. It's your lifestyle, your income, and your impact. Okay. A remarkable business must focus on all three of these. With two or less of these factors, you will sabotage your business, right? And lifestyle, what is lifestyle? Well, lifestyle is the lifestyle you design and create for yourself, okay? Really write it down. How much is your lifestyle going to cost? What are the plane trips going to cost? How much your groceries going to cost? What is rent going to cost or your mortgage going to cost? Write that down. Put that number. If it's 12,000 a month for your dream lifestyle, 15,000 a month for your dream lifestyle, write that down. Then you need to set the goal for your income. If you want to get to 15 grand, well, we're gonna talk about that in a bit. But impact. You want to also make sure that you're focusing on changing lives and making an impact. So your lifestyle. Let's cover this first. Decide what type of lifestyle you want to live and set your income goal each month. You only need a specific number of clicks and sales each day to reach your goal. Once you find out what your numbers are. So if you know that you can send 500 clicks a day and you can get 2 sales a day, well, you just need to determine how much those sales are worth in order to reach your goal, right? And you only need to serve a small number of clients each month to give you more time freedom. So whatever your business model is, wherever you're at, all you need to do is get a few clients, not a whole lot, just a small number of clients when you're making big ticket sales. And you can deliver your program online from anywhere in the world, and you can do it in just a few hours per week, which is powerful. Let's talk about your income now. So with the big ticket offer, hitting your income goals becomes much simpler, much, much simpler. So this is the formula right here. Your target income is equal to your clients, maybe the number of clients you bring in, times the price of your program, right? So if you want to make $20,000 a month, and I know for some people that's not a lot of money. Okay, that's not a lot of money. Okay, $20,000 a month, it's simple to hit. And if your program is only $5,000, that means you only need 4 clients every single month to hit your income goals. Simple as that. Let's talk about your impact. So higher prices means more fully committed clients who take action and get results, because that's what it's all about. Today I had one of my clients today. He wired me some money, and I was in a cigar shop, and he just called me up. He said, "Hey Mike, what's up, man? What's up, bro? Going on good?" Blah, blah, blah. Just a little small talk, small chat. He said, "Hey man, just want to let you know the money's in your account." Cool, thanks, bye. Just like that. And he's getting results in his business. Okay, he's getting results in his business. So look, fewer clients means that you can truly deliver amazing value. Your clients get excellent results and have a wonderful experience working with you. Okay. And this is the beauty of working with bigger clients. Okay. And with that extra income and extra time coming into your life, thanks to your business, you can give back to your community. You can donate to charity. You can take care of your family and have a deeper purpose and mission behind the work you are doing. And that's what it's all about. The money we make is great. The money we make is fantastic. We get to do so many exciting things, but what's it worth for you to be able to go and just buy a meal for a homeless guy on the street, or be able to just have that extra time and go feed people at a homeless shelter, or be able to take that money and be able to donate that money to people in third world countries like India and China and Africa. What's that worth? Like, how much impact does that have not only on your life but the lives of others that you reach out to and touch? And this is one of the biggest things I stress and I focus on, because making an impact is everything. It's everything. It's everything. That's how we touch each other. That's how human life continues to move forward, because we make impact in other people's lives. And you'll be able to make more of an impact when you're working with higher ticket clients. That's just the way it goes. So I want to tell you Rochelle's story because Rochelle, we actually started working together, and she had a very unique story. She didn't have a lot of success when she first got started, and Rochelle was an online business owner trying to deliver service to offline clients, right? Well, we helped her discover how to thoroughly outsource done for you services for offline clients. Okay, so here's what happened for Rochelle. So in her first 7 days, she closed her first three clients for $1,000 in total and outsourced the services. So somebody else did all the work for her and she took all the money. And she said it was the only thing that ever created success for her online. The only thing. And I had talks with her. I said, tell me what you did. Tell me what happened. And she was like, you were so motivating. You really inspired me to get off my butt and finally just take action, take action, take action. I took action and it changed my entire life. And I was emailing her, I think two days ago, and she was saying how she was actually in California. She lives in the UK, but she's in California now. She's traveling. She has more freedom for her and her husband. They got a kid now. And it's just that type of impact is what you can make when you work with high ticket clients, okay, and bigger level clients. So today I promised you, and let me know, did I deliver or did I over deliver on my promises today? So I promised I would show you how to secure your first big client before you present your offer, and do it again anytime you want. Okay. I also promised today that I would show you how to command $2,500 prices to $10,000 prices for everything that you do on the low end. I think I showed you a couple things. You can charge 25 grand and 150 grand for. So you let me know, type in the chat box if you think I delivered on that. And I promise I will show you the 6 high velocity business models to create high ticket sales on demand. So just let me know if you think I delivered on my promises. Just let me know. Drop it in the chat box for me. Let me know what you think. Yes, you over delivered. Thank you. Yes, you're awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yes, so much clarity. Man, this is so simple. Yes, hell yes. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Hey, yes, this is still flying in. That's funny. Good. Hey, listen. I'm very happy that you're excited about this, and I'm very happy this is making sense. Okay. So look, Elise, Troy, and Rochelle. What do they all have in common? Hmm. What do they all have in common? Well, I'll tell you. They did what the pros do. They got the help they needed. Straight up, they got the help they needed. So, what would you do, right? Actually, would you do open heart surgery on yourself? Let's be real. If you had a heart condition and you just and just dropped, right? And you need open heart surgery on the spot, would you do open heart surgery on yourself? No, of course not. I mean, why in the hell would you do that? You'd be killing yourself, right? You will go find a professional heart surgeon to open you up and make you feel better, right? To open you up and fix what's going wrong on the inside. Because most of us, and for you, your business is not suffering on the outside. You don't have a problem with setting these things up. You don't have a problem because you don't know this stuff. It's on the inside. And in order to find out what's going wrong on the inside and get the solution for the inside of your business, you need to find a professional. You need to work with a professional who can help you get the job done straight up. Okay? This is the reality of the situation here. So now you have a decision to make. You have a decision to make. Okay? So here's how I can help. I want to tell you how I can help you at this point. Okay? Because again, I'm here to make an impact. So this is how I can help. And if you think I can help, let me know if it's okay. I invite you to reach out to work with me. Let me know. Type yes into the chat box. If after I present to you how I can help you, if it is okay for me to invite you to reach out to work with me. Got the yes. Okay, good. Yes is popping in. Yes, hell yes. Yes. Okay, good stuff. Yes, yes. Come on. Hell yeah. Give it to me. Yes. Come on, come on. Yes, yes. All right. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I'm very happy. Look, we got it. Just about everybody who's started on the webinar is still here. I do appreciate you guys. Appreciate you hanging on with me just a little bit after an hour. I know your time is valuable, so it's mine. So look, here's how I can help you. Okay, just being real with you. My team and I have set aside some time in the next 48 hours to speak with you personally. Okay, whether it's myself or one of my VAs, we're going to speak with you personally about how you can apply some of these ideas to your business starting today. You don't have to wait. You don't have to sit around for like 4 weeks for results. Okay, you can get started right away and get results within a week, within your first week, within your first 2 weeks, as long as you take the action and you be responsible for your results. And look, whatever your biggest challenge is, we've seen it before, and we know how to overcome that challenge. All right, we can help you overcome that mental barrier. So here's why you'll transform on this session. Okay, this is what we will do on this session. We're gonna have it's gonna be an awesome session, right? We set aside about 45 minutes to consult with you, see where your business at, see where we can help you, see where the holes are in your business, identify those, and help you. Okay, so first thing first, we're gonna crystallize your perfect client. You can't sell anything if you don't know who you're selling it to. There's no way. There's no way whatsoever. So we're gonna help you identify who your perfect client is. I got an exercise I call find your fill. Okay, find your fill. And we're going to dive deeper into that. We're going to dive a little deeper into finding your fill exercise. Okay, we're going to identify the ideal prices you should charge to reach your income goals. So while we're on the session, we're going to say, okay, look, what are you looking to do? Who are you looking to sell it to? Okay, what result are you delivering for your clients? How much should you charge? This is what you should charge based on my expert opinion. Okay, this is what you can charge. These are some price points to charge. We're going to identify that and make it crystal clear for you. And on that call, we're going to help you structure your perfect funnel to create better results in the quickest time possible. So if you don't have a funnel right now, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But if you do have a funnel, we're gonna take a look at it, break it down, see where the holes are, plug some of those holes right there on the call, and from that point, we're gonna move forward. Okay. And also, we're gonna help you create a perfect strategy to hit your goals fast. Okay, fast. When you're playing in this realm of big high ticket clients, you're gonna hit your goals fast. Okay. So the cost for this session, I know you're like, Mike, how much is? Look, it's absolutely free. It won't cost you a single penny to get on the phone with me, identify where you are in your business, and help you reach your goals. Okay. But again, you're reaching out for help. You're reaching out to a professional who can help you get to where you want to be in your business, help you add in that extra level, that extra segment of income to your business, right? So who is this for? I want to make this clear because I'm not here to waste my time. I'm not here to waste your time. I'm here to deliver value. I'm here to make an impact in your life, help you create more income and a better lifestyle. That's why I'm here. So that being the case, this is who this is for and who this is not for. So just make sure that you listen in to see which category you fall into. You must own a solid business already. So if you're brand new to the internet, well, you know what? It may take you a little bit more than 2 weeks, right? It might take you a couple weeks. It might take you 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, so if you don't have a business already, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. I just want to let you know. But at the same time, if you do have a business, this is for you. Okay, you must be great at what you do. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip of water here. I'm a little parched. Okay. Again, you must be great at what you do. So if you're just fumbling around and you're not really good at what you do, this might not be for you. And you must be able to recreate your results and have testimonials or case studies for proof, or you must just have something in your favor that says, hey, I can help my people, I can help my clients get results. Because if you can't help your clients get results, we can't work with you. Because we're all about creating success stories and passing the torch on. If you can't do that for yourself and your clients, there's no way we can work with you. Okay, but if you feel that you're great at what you do, we can work with you. All right. And again, if that's you, just type yes into the chat box. I see some people typing yes into the chat box. Feel free to type yes if that is you. Okay. So your service or offer should provide value, and it should solve a major life or business problem for others. So if you're into relationships, if you're a marriage counselor, if you're a marriage coach, right, then this is for you because you're helping solve people's marriage. That's priceless, right? But look, no scamming people, no multi-level marketing. If you're in MLM and you want to push, the next supplement, this isn't for you. This is not for you. There is an MLM company today. Somebody tried to get me into it. It's called Vima. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said their name. I probably should have said their name. But today they just got shut down by the FTC, saying they're a pyramid scheme. They're a pyramid scheme. So if that's you, if that's what you're into, this is not for you. Straight up, this is not for you. Don't even waste my time, okay? And if you're into push button, click here, get rich, this is not for you. Don't waste my time, okay? Like we won't even call you. Your application will be wasted. So don't waste our time and don't waste other people's time, okay? So that's what this is for, straight up. So if that's you, look, I invite you to book a session now, straight up, because this is something that will change your business. Okay, this is something that will change your business, straight up. All right. So look, this is why we're doing this, because I know there's a lot of value here. There's a lot of greatness just coming through, and you're like, man, this is this is like I see the way. I see how I can get to the next level. I see how I can create more avenues for my business. Well, let me just tell you why we're doing this, right? And again, you know, I operate out of passion. Like I don't know any other gear besides the highest gear. Okay, so I operate out of passion. I do everything to the best of my ability. So look, we do this because we love giving back. Like literally, I love, if you're not following me on Facebook, search me out on Facebook and follow me. Okay, I give away a free video where I'm talking about marketing, business, inspiration, motivation, mindset. I'm just giving it away because I love giving back. I love inspiring people. Okay, and myself and my team, look, we love empowering serious people to create what they are inspired to create. Because we know that if we inspire you or we empower you, you're gonna take that torch and you're gonna light other people's torches. And you're gonna spread that light and that love around the world. You follow me? So that's why we're doing this. And look, we believe in challenging the status quo by helping people think differently. Straight up. So we got yeses, got hell yeah, flying into the chat box. I love it, man. I love the interaction because that's what this is about. And plus, look, we know that you might want our help to transform your business. Straight up. And if so, we can talk about it and see if it's a good fit for the both of us. And if at the end of the call, at the end of the big breakthrough session, if it's not for you, if it's not for me to work with you or us, look, that's fine too. That's totally fine. Is that fair enough? Let me know. Type yes to the chat box. Is that fair enough for you? Let me know. I'm looking for some human interaction here. Again, we got a ton of people here on the call. All right, we got the yeses popping in. Yes, yes. Okay, I love serving others. Yes. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so it sounds like the right people are here hanging out. Yes, hell yeah. By the way, I love it when people curse and just like be themselves, man, because that's what it's about. So look, you know, damn, we got yeses still flying in. That's funny. We got yeses still popping in. So look, here it is. Regardless, okay, regardless, you will get massive amounts of value out of every last second of this call. You're going to get tons of value from this call. Okay. So this is all you got to do. If you're serious, if you're ready to take things to the next level, all you have to do is go right here to this website. Okay. And I will actually type this inside of the chat box, because, again, you know, it seems that you're serious. Okay. And again, I only work with people who are serious about transforming the lives of others. Okay. And I'm typing this into the chat box right now. So you should be able to see it right now pop up into the chat box. Let me just make sure. So right there in the chat box is the opportunity for you to go and apply. Okay? To go and apply. Because again, we have the time set aside for you in the next 48 hours to help get you started, see where you're at, identify where you're at, get you on the ball, get you rolling, get you moving quickly. Okay? So what I want to do now is I just want to tell you a real quick little story, okay? A real quick little story. And one of the things that happened for me is I was getting started. I was creating products, little information products, and I put a product out there. And somebody bought the product, and it's funny. He came to me. He was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry, man. I downloaded your product on this illegal site. I'm so sorry." And I was like, whatever, man. Did you get value from it?" He's like, "Yeah, man. Totally changed my life." And I was like, "Wow. Well, hey, I can't fault you, man, for getting that product." Then he asked me, he's like, look, man, I really want to work with you. How can I learn from you? How can I learn how to launch products and get my name out there? I said, okay, well, look, this is what you can do, man. Um, I can actually show you how to get started launching your own products and help you become successful at it. So he took me up on the offer to work with me, and within, he was a brand new, he was a beginner, so he didn't have an existing business, so it took him a little time to get started. But after about 2 months, he launched his first product. I think he did about four to $5,000 in sales in a span of like 4 days, and then after that, on the back end, he did about $20,000 on the back end. And then the next thing that happened is that he launches another product, and he made about, I think it was about $15,000 with his second product launch. And on the back end, he made, I mean, this kid, he did well over his first time around. I think he made about $30,000 to $40,000, somewhere in that range. And this is all in the span of about 3 weeks. So he was able to quit his job. He was a 21-year-old waiter, an English waiter. Like, hello, hi, I'm Zoc, and I can even get you a testimonial that he did for me. And he quit his job. But not only did he quit his job, but he taught his marketing strategy, which was doing offline client brokering, and servicing offline clients with outsourcing, providing them services. He taught that to other people, and they went out there and they went and got their first couple of clients, for website design services, SEO services, and one lady made about $3,000, and it changed her life. And so seeing that, not only did it change his life, my life, the lady's life, but it made me realize how much of an impact you can have when you impact the impactors, regardless of how they find you. Regardless of how they come to you, whether you already know them, they're already in your network, in your circle, your Facebook group, whatever. When you make an impact on people's lives, that impact spreads, and it makes the world that we live in a better place. And now Zach is at a point in his business where he's got enough money not to retire, okay, but he's got enough money to where now he's going outside of the business marketing niche, and he's going for something he's passionate about. And it's funny, but the kid's passionate about like dating, pickup artist stuff, and picking up ladies and stuff. So he started his school to teach other people how to go out there and pick up women. Now, do I agree with this? Am I a part of this? Well, hey, it's to each their own, right? But what's beautiful is that he's able to take the money that he's been able to make by working with bigger clients, right? Not only impact their lives, but also impact his own life. Quit his job, full time online. Now working with his dream, like working in his passion, and he's been online, seriously full time online now since the beginning of this year. He quit his job last year after working with me for a few months, and it's beautiful. It's one of the most amazing things where you can see somebody's life completely transform and change. Just like when Troy Paul, he called me and said, "Hey, Mike, man, I can't talk right now. I'm meeting with my realtor." And I'm like, "What? Your realtor? Wow!" And that's what this is about. That's what this is about. He's moved into a new house with his girlfriend, his wife. Sorry, his wife now. um, and life is different for him. So when you get testimonials, people reaching back out to you, people asking you questions, people dropping you, "Hey man, thanks so much. You changed my life." And not only do they say it, but you actually see it in their lifestyle. You see it like I told you, Elise and Rochelle, those Rochelle traveled from London, UK, and she's in LA right now, or maybe she went back already. I don't know, but the whole point is that she was able to do that thanks to the results she got, and that kickstart into her business that she got from working with me. And even Elise, he now lives in Australia. He was living in Singapore before, and he recently moved to Australia. His business just did over 10K this August. He just did over 10K. For some people, that's not a lot of money, but I mean, if you're not making 10K, that's that can be life changing. And so my whole point is that this is something I take very serious. Okay, simply because it changes lives. Not only do my clients' lives change, but my life changes watching their life change. That's one of the best parts about this. And so again, you have the opportunity to reach out to me. We've set aside some time, following this webinar within the next 48 hours. So if you are interested, or maybe it's not for you, right? Maybe you still want to reach out and find out how you can be a part, or maybe you know someone who wants to get started in this arena, working with bigger clients, or whatever the case may be. I invite you to reach out, and spaces are limited because again there was only so much time allocated to 45-minute big breakthrough session. So all you got to do is sign up now. Go to bigclientcoaching.com/apply. And I see that we got a couple applications already coming through. Excellent. So we got people already signing up. And listen, if you already signed up, congratulations, Ron just signed up. Congratulations, man. Way to go. Way to get started with really changing your life, man. And if that's you, if you're ready, take the plunge, sign up for the free strategy session, something that's gonna help you get absolutely clear on what direction you need to go in. And this is really exciting, man. We got a bunch of people still hanging out on the call. Like literally, just about everybody who jumped on the call at the beginning is here hanging out. So this is what I want to do. I just want to open up for questions. I know we've been here for an hour and a half. Jeez Louise. But I just want to open up for questions because I know that there are some people who do have questions, and a couple people did ask me some questions earlier before the webinar. So I want to get to the questions real quick and just answer a few questions that you may have had throughout this entire presentation, some of the questions that have been really boggling and troubling your mind. So one of the things I want to answer, so Fred asked, is EPC a big issue when you're first getting started, and how do you work out EPC? So if you're new to marketing, or if you don't really understand the concept, EPC stands for earnings per click. And EPC is something that really is relevant in the online product launch, the affiliate launch. It's something that's relevant in those realms. Not so much the big client coaching field, simply because when it comes to big clients, they are more along the lines of they care about results. So clients are not like, oh man, what are the EPCs? What is this to give me? No, they care about results. So if you can get them results, that's all they care about, right? So Fred, I hope that answers your question. Hope that makes a lot more sense to you. Okay, so Steve asks, okay, so if I'm a real estate professional, how can I deliver this service of real estate in a leveraged way? Well, Steve, here are a couple things you can do. Real estate, and I know this because I got my certificate. I never got my license. I will, okay, but I just got it because I wanted to learn about real estate, and once I'm ready to make those serious investments into real estate. So if you're selling real estate and you want to learn how to leverage your knowledge of real estate, think about it. You know what it takes to get the certificate, right? You know what it takes to get the license, right? You know what it takes to find a broker. You know what it takes to get clients. You know what it takes to find houses. You know all this stuff. All you have to do is show people what you know, and show people step by step how to get from A to B. First off, decide who you're targeting. Like, what's your person's name? Is his name Johnny, or is his name Roderick? Is his name Malachi, or is his name Smith? Whatever. Figure out who he is or she is, right? Or maybe it could be Lisa. Maybe it could be Sarah. I don't know. We got a Lisa on the call tonight. What up, Lisa? Whatever. Find out who that person is. Find out what their pain points are, and then talk to their pain points. Don't talk to their, hey, Lisa, I know you want to. No, say, Lisa, look, you're struggling. Real estate is the way to go, and you're not getting your piece of the real estate pie. How does that feel? How bad does that feel? You want to focus on the pain points first. Then once you identify the pain points, you say, okay, Lisa, look, how much more painful is it to stay at point A, okay, versus how pleasurable will it feel to arrive at point B? People will do whatever it takes to escape pain compared to what they will do to find pleasure. Think about it. If people are bored, they're going to go on Facebook, they're going to go on Instagram, they're going to do whatever it takes to escape the pain of boredom, to find pleasure in entertainment. So that's how you want to that's how you want to think about it. Again, I don't want to go too deep into it because look, I could be here for days, okay? And for some of my clients who I explain this to, they get the solution, right? They get it. But in a nutshell, that's what you want to do. Figure out who you're targeting, figure out the pain points, figure out what it's going to take to get from A to B, identify the pain of staying at A, and identify the pleasure of getting to B. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I hope you understand that. All right. So Hugo asks, so when it comes to the fee plus royalty model, how does that work? So Hugo, you're actually a step ahead, huh? Fee plus royalty. So normally it's fee plus equity. That's how I like to structure it because again, equity is where you take a piece of that business. That's where you say, hey, look, I'll do your look. Here's the contract. Pay me 5,000 up front or 2,500 up front, 10,000 up front, depending on the size of your client and the level of results you can produce. Then you say, hey, look, after this 10,000. I'm going to take 10% of all the profits that I bring in, okay? And we'll track all the profits using this software. You know, we'll use ClickMagick, we'll use Volume. There are tons of trackers out there. We'll track the progress of online sales on the website or the design that I've done, okay? And then from that point, all the profits that come from the sales that I bring in, those are mine. You know, like straight up, that's how you let them know. And that's that's a simple way to go about it. Again, I don't want to get into too much detail because again, we've been here for literally an hour and a half now. And again, I see other people do have questions, and so I'm going to take one last question. One last question. So if you got a question you'd like for me to answer, just before we wrap this up, please ask away. I'm going to answer one last question. We got a bunch of questions coming through, and I'm going to take this one question. Okay. All right. So Lisa asks, so when it comes to clients, let's say you don't have any results, how can you get clients when you don't have results? Great question, Lisa. So let's say you want to get started selling big clients, right? Like you, yes, you, and you don't have any results to show for it. And clients, they don't want to buy it. They don't how are they going to know? How are they going to know that you can deliver the service when you don't even have results to show that you can deliver what you're talking about? This is how you do it. You let them know, well, hey, look, thank you so much for applying. I appreciate you reaching out. And, you tell them everything that you got to offer. Of course, you let them know you can solve their problem. They believe that you can solve their problem. You present the perceived value that you can solve their problem in a big way. And then what you do is this. You say, look, our program is currently in beta mode. Our program is currently in beta mode. So this is what's going to happen, Rick or Steve or Bob or Joe or whoever the person is. This is what's going to happen. Because our program is beta mode, is in beta mode, I'm going to give you, okay, I'm going to give you a 50% price reduction of the original cost of this program once we move out of beta mode. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. I hope that really nails it down to, as far as how you get the client without having tons of results. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Drop a yes into the chat box and let me know if that's something that really makes sense to you. Okay, yes, great call, great information. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, good. All right, excellent stuff. So look, this is what I want to do. I've answered a bunch of questions. We got a bunch more questions, okay, for everybody who's on this live webinar. I'll reach out to you if I have your information, or you can reach out to me at any time. But this is what I'm gonna do, okay? So I want to leave you with something cool. I want to leave you with some awesome stuff. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you, okay, one, a business plan, two, how to sell transformation, and three, a very valuable article, and some of you guys have seen it on Facebook, but I'm going to give you this. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to reach out to me via email, okay, or via Facebook, or however you can get in contact with me. Just reach out to me and I'll send it to you. I'll send it directly to you. Okay, yes, that means you. I know you're like, oh, is that me? I'll fill out the application. I'm on Facebook. Okay, good, cool. So, and we got other people who filled out the application. I want to say congratulations to you for filling out the application. Checking on my phone. So definitely congratulations for congratulations Excel for definitely booking your opportunity. Congratulations. So what you do is this. So I'm gonna write it right here in the chat box. Okay, so in the chat box, I'm gonna give you my personal email. Okay, so definitely make sure. Again, congratulations, got another buzz. People are applying. So this will be in the chat box right now if you're watching the live webinar. Okay, if you are on the watching the recorded webinar, okay, you can also feel free to reach out to me anyway via Facebook or via email. So there you go. There's my email. It should be right there inside the chat box. And that is, my email is michael@michaelbaptiste.net. So you can just reach out to me right there. get in touch with me from there, and what we'll do is I'll send you all the information. I'll send you everything. I promise you. Just for coming and hanging out with me. Just send you some more valuable information, some more golden information, so that way you can take it. And again, just take the information, reach out, and we can definitely help you get started, get to the next level. All right. So it's been long enough on this call today. Listen, I really enjoyed this. I hope you got a ton of value from this. And from this point, what we will do is we will connect again. But look, from this point, all I want you to do is go out there and make the rest of your life the best of your life. Hey, it's your fearless leader, Michael Baptiste. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate your time. I'm gonna go make some things happen myself and get ready to wind the night down. Hope you had a great night hanging out with me on this call, and I look forward to working with you soon, help you make an impact and transformation in your business. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you tonight. Have a great night. Take care. Bye.